Just something to talk about. Okay, hey everybody, it is Monday. We're getting ready to answer your listener questions for Wednesday. Then we'll do Friday's show. So hang with us for the next hour and a half or so. Is everything?
Yeah, Elizabeth was like, "How long is it going to take? When should I start making dinner?"
We're rocking. We're getting these things done.
She's like, "Whatever you tell me, I'm going to add 15 minutes because I know how you and Mike are."
It is true. That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And I finally got to go to the eye doctor today, man.
Okay.
So I'm so glad I get my. Well, hopefully I get some new contacts, but I get new glasses in 2 weeks.
Nice.
So I'll actually see.
We're having goulash tonight.
Goulash.
What's goulash?
What's goulash again?
Like, I mean, I think everyone makes it probably different, but like, it's basically like some ground beef, and we put like some pasta in it, like usually like rigatoni or something, and then tomatoes and some beans, and it's good.
Oh, that sounds super good. Guess what I'm having?
I don't know, Taco Bell.
That is correct.
Yeah. I had to move, dude. I had to email a guy. I think I told you this yesterday, though. I had to email a guy like, "Man, can you move this meeting that we have at 10 o'clock tomorrow to something else?"
No, you'd be like, "Well, I'm not paying attention to you for like 15 minutes."
But what stinks, like, our company is like hiring people for the first time in like 18 months, basically. And like, I'm on the interview committee for whatever reason for operations. That's one of my stretch assignments, whatever. But like, I have an interview right at 11. So I'm like, and that I can't move, right? Like, there's a person like that needs, like, it's a fixed time. Like, that's unmovable.
Well, we got to do the same thing we did last time. Like, if I get in and can sign you up, I will.
Yeah.
But do the same for me if you get in, because I don't know why you got in so faster, but we'll text like through it. But yeah, if you need to.
I mean, I was tempted to book a flight to Coronado and just do it from Coronado tomorrow.
I know, dude, it's worth it. I know, dude, they're rocked or something. I don't know what's going on. Oh my god!
Oh, man.
I can't even think about it. I can't think about it. Hang on, hit this button here. All right, let's do it so I don't have to concentrate. We got a question about golf, so this will be perfect for you.
Oh, cool.
Actually, about the pro shops. Yeah, this is exactly a question for you.
Yeah, I think I went back a second time, right? I went to that pro shop twice.
Yeah, that's kind of like when this question came in, I was like, oh, it's perfect for Scott. What registration tomorrow? What registrations tomorrow? Is your registration tomorrow? Just kidding. Okay, let's do it. This is 1938. Welcome to episode 1938 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hopefully you are doing well. You know, we record these shows a couple of days ahead of time, so we have time to edit and get them all uploaded to the server and so forth. And I'm just thinking, because you guys know we record these shows on Monday evenings, and Tuesday's kind of a big day for all the Run Disney fans. So this show could find you super happy. You know, like today's your first day of training officially. You're ready to rock. I'm hoping that's how it finds everybody, but let's just say that is how it's going to find everybody. We're going to have a good time signing up for Marathon Weekend, and I hope you got all the races that you wanted, but we'll talk about that as the days and weeks and months go on. So let's think happy thoughts here as we get ready to register for the races as we're recording. So joining me today, we have my co-host, my good buddy, Scotty G, hashtag Scotty G, who I run all the Run Disney races with. What's up, Scott?
Happy Wednesday. Happy to be back on another show today, Mike. And I hope everyone got the race they're looking for. Someone asked me today, like, what races are you going for? And like, the full might not necessarily be on my radar right now. You know, I'm not in the best shape I've been in a long time. Like, I need to work on that. But like, if you want to do more than one race, like, you're better off going for Dopey because so that you can register for all of them at the same time. So that's my plan. Hopefully I'm in Dopey as of the time of this listening.
Yeah, if you're not sure, just do Dopey. You know, you're going to get 6 shirts, 6 medals. You know, if you do that, you're going to get some ears at the end of the, Sunday. But I shouldn't say that because that's what I'm going for. Everybody should just go for the full. You know,
that's right. Yeah, just go for the 5Ks.
Exactly. Yeah,
those are fun.
Just go for the Dopey. It's terrible. No,
it's 10 o'clock Central Time, right? No, I'm just playing.
Don't even give. I'm not even giving a time because I don't want someone coming at me if all of a sudden Run Disney changes it at the last minute.
For real.
And, they want to come at me. So yeah, just rundisney.com for all the details. Don't trust me. That's what I'm saying. Okay, before we get into the listener questions, we have some great listener questions. Also our live chat. Thanks for being here. Ask your questions, please, in the live chat. We'll get those on the show. Today, last night as I was watching TV, I was watching Big Brother, which we're both big fans of. And there's a new Dr. Rick commercial, and it was made for us. I'm telling you, whoever progressive, they listen to our show. Have you seen the new Dr.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so he's like the guy that keeps you from turning into your parents. Set in an airport. Okay, so it's now set in an airport. It's got all this travel advice. First thing is, and it not really Disney related, but I mean, this one, it was scary. So he's showing everybody how to travel, right? Now, these folks that don't want to turn to the parents, of course, he's like, okay, let's check our boarding passes. And he pulls up his iPhone. Nope, all the other people have paper boarding pass. I still have a paper boarding pass every time I go. It's a backup, right? It's analog. It's not going to, if my phone crashed. I mean, okay, I want to ask you this because I don't know if you're like your parents or if it's like me. I do grab when I print out my bag tags. I always print out the passes too. I'm like, why not? I'll just, in case my phone's not working. Do you go totally digital at the airport?
As of 2 to 3 years ago, I'm totally digital. I used to do the same thing. When you're at the gate checking your baggage, do you want a boarding pass? I always say yes, but not anymore, man. I just trust the process. One less thing to worry about or dropping or losing somewhere. So I'm 100% digital.
Okay. Here's the next thing he goes with. He says, you might be your parent if when you take off, you share all the landmarks in your neighborhood with everybody around you on the plane. I do that every single time. Like, there's the bridge, there's Discovery Bridge. Oh, there's the mall. There's our, there's our subdivision. Every single time. I love that stuff. Do you do that?
I don't do that.
Oh my God. It's crazy. Okay. There was 2 more. And there was one where, now I don't think either one of us do this. Like, somebody's getting ready to buy some snacks at the airport where they're super expensive. And the lady had packed like peanut butter and jellies. I don't do that. I guess.
Yeah, I don't do that.
With the last one, as it shows this lady, like running to the gate, with like her bag trailing behind her. And, the lady in the seats is like, I should have left earlier. Me, I'm like, you should have got up earlier, sucker. Hurry.
It's funny.
Oh my gosh. But I felt seen, as the kids say. I was like, this is not good.
Anyway. Going to the digital boarding pass, my concern was like, will TSA like find this legit? Like, I didn't worry about like the gate, like the airline. I was worried about like security, but no, I saw a whole bunch of people doing it once. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try that going forward.
And I do that. I mean, I use my phone, but I always have I'm like, what? It doesn't cost me anything to print the sucker out while I'm printing out the stickers for my luggage. So I always print it out, throw it in my pocket, and then I usually use my phone. I actually use your watch too. I'm not that. Here's the thing. I don't want to be the guy that gets up there trying to use the latest technology that it not work, and then I'm holding up boarding the plane. That's like my worst nightmare. I've seen
You remember one of the first times we went to Give Kids a World Village, we did one of those check presentations, and Ricky printed out like MapQuest instructions. She didn't use her phone. She actually printed the instructions. Do you remember those from back in the day though? Like drive 0.2 of a mile and turn right. And like, it would be like 6 pages of directions.
Totally. Well, I mean, Ricky's not turning into her parents. She's turning into like a grandma. I mean, she's
really, let's be real.
That's how it is. I mean, she takes her desserts back in plastic bags. So anyway, Ricky will be back and she can defend herself. All right. So let's hop into the list of questions. First question of the day comes from our good friend, Jonathan Blankenship, one of the BOGP lizards. And he's down in North Carolina. He says, hey, Mike, I enjoyed hearing about your recent golf experience while at the World. As one who also enjoys playing golf, I'm now intrigued about incorporating a round into a future trip. How about we end our dopey with a round of golf afterwards? Maybe. That'd be kind of fun. He said, you mentioned the pro shops. Do you have to have a tee time to get in at the course and do a little browsing in their pro shop? Do you know if all the course pro shops are the same? If not, do you recommend one over another? And what do you recommend is the best mode of transportation, Uber or Lyft, I'm assuming? A big thanks, as always, from your friends here in Charlotte. So I thought this was a perfect one for you because we went to the pro shop when we played our round, but apparently I found out when you got home, you went back. It was so much fun.
I did go back.
So how's that go?
I can't resist a good offer of buy one, get one half off on the merchandise, right? For the apparel. So yeah, so I went back and I had the same thought as Jonathan. Like, so I think most people know, like the 2 main courses, the Palm and Magnolia plus the Oak Trail, are all like the station is at Shades of Green, basically. So I'm like, man, how am I going to get in here? I don't have a tee time. Are they going to let me in? So I just rolled up to the gate with my rental car and just said, hey, I golfed here a couple days ago. Can I go look at the pro shop? They didn't care about anything. I mean, and sometimes you see that with security, right? At a guard check, Mike, like sometimes like they want to drill you with like 10,000 questions. And other times they look at your ID and they just like send you on your way.
Totally. It's such a crapshoot when it goes into getting into, driving through one of those guard shacks because you're exactly, I mean, sometimes It's like, okay, here, I'm going to chop off my index finger and hold it until I come back. I promise I'll come back for my index finger. It's my left hand. I'm a lefty. And then other times it's like, oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. But they were super cool about it. And even when you golf there, they have like a starter, like a golf attendant, like in front of the clubhouse, like saying like, hey, what's your tee time and all that. So I just explained to him like, hey, I'm just here to shop. And there's like, oh yeah, come on in, do some shopping. I had my daughter with me, so she got to do the Mickey cart photo shoot too, which is kind of awesome.
The one we drove for all 18.
The one we drove. Yes, the one we drove.
Just kidding.
So yeah, you can definitely do it if you're not. My two suggestions, if you don't have a rental car, would be like a Lyft or Uber, right, to like Shades of Green, or there's the other course is at Saratoga Springs, so you could always take a bus from like a park, like so if you're at a park or whatever, or Disney Springs, and you think, hey, I want to check out the gift shop or the pro shop, just take a bus from a park, but then you have to figure out how to get back, which might be an Uber or a Lyft from Saratoga back to your next destination, but that's always an option.
Right. So he's asking too, because we haven't been to Lake Buena Vista Golf Course since 2018 for me, marathon weekend.
Yeah.
I would say that the pro shop at the Magnolia and the Palm was better. I mean, it was definitely their kind of hub, but the Lake Buena Vista had some stuff, but it was definitely bigger over there.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're looking for like course specific merchandise, like you got to go to whatever the respective golf pro shop is, because when we're at Shades of Green, you couldn't find anything for Lake Buena Vista specific, like shirts or golf balls or anything like that. So you have to go to the other pro shop if you're looking for something specific. But if you're just looking for the general merchandise, like club covers or the awesome Mickey polos, hats, and things like that, you'll be able to find it at either one. Yeah, I would recommend the Shades of Green because that is like the bigger store for sure.
One other thing I would say too is when the Polynesian monorail opens back up, and we hear that's going to open up probably in August. So definitely probably by marathon weekend, I would assume you can get off at the Polynesian and walk over to Shades of Green, which is where the golf course is. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be easier to take an Uber or Lyft, but if you want to stick with strictly Disney transportation, it's doable. You can walk.
Yep. That's a great option. Cause I ran around the Polynesian, and even when you're running, there's a way to get over there. Right. So like that's a great option too, Mike.
All righty. Oh, I got to say this. I totally forgot. And I can't believe I forgot this. I need to send a huge 18th birthday shout out to Ella Layton down in Arkansas. Her birthday is this week. She's a big fan of the show. I'm a big fan of hers because she's an Epcot fan. She knows more about Epcot than I could ever wish to know. Of course, Dr. Kai's her dad, just great folks, great supporters of the podcast. So I wish her a very, very happy 18th birthday. God, I wish I was 18 again. You have the whole world in front of you. It's like it's all the rear view mirror for me at this point.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Oh my God.
To like have gone to Disney as often as she has and had like all the Epcot knowledge at 18, man, I'm jealous. I wish I could go back in time.
When I was 18, I just called it the golf ball, and I'd only been to the Magic Kingdom for half a day. That was my extent of my Walt Disney World experience.
So speaking of golf, that's a big miss right there too, right? Couldn't they like make like a clubhouse golf ball that's like Spaceship Earth? Like installed in the clubhouse?
Oh yeah. Oh, could you imagine? Like, I mean, they should do that at the mini golf places at least, right? A little, what color do you want? I want Spaceship Earth.
I want the Spaceship Earth ball.
They'd be stolen, is what it is. Everybody be stealing those suckers.
That's the problem. I mean, they could sell them at the Epcot gift shops easily, like at like $5 a piece. And people would buy it.
Disney so many great ideas. That is the best. That is the best marketing idea ever. Just Spaceship. Everybody calls it the golf ball. That's perfect.
So just come home with a golf ball of Spaceship Earth. It's genius.
Yeah, get a little stand is like the 4 legs, right?
Or or they could be like golf tees somehow.
Oh my God, stop. It's just not right. It's so easy. Come on, Disney. All right, here we go. We got one from Amy at the Run Eat Drink podcast. I have a question about Coronado. We are staying in the tower at the end of August. Thanks to you, Michael. Thanks to you, Amy. How do you make the most of the stay at Coronado if the goal is to fully enjoy the resort and not so much the parks on this trip? Must-do list for food, drinks, pool time. Thanks for all you do, Amy and Dana. The Coronado is a great place to really just take it in. Now, I know that you recently went to Three Bridges. That's the one thing I haven't done at Coronado, and you were raving about it.
Yeah, it was awesome. I recommend going earlier in the day. So I think you talked about this on a previous episode, Mike, like the finding food options late at night after the parks are closed is really difficult to do.
You'll starve.
And it was the night we were at Epcot actually with the Andersons, and we closed it down. We went to La Cava, and I realized on our way home, like we haven't had dinner yet, like just some chips and guac basically. So I'm like, where can we eat? And like Three Bridges was open to midnight. So boom, we got in there like at 11 o'clock.
This is so great. I love it. You roll in at like 11 o'clock.
And like it was hopping though. I mean, it was more like adult cocktails was the thing. Like, but the menu was still open, you know. So Emily got like a burger. I got like a Greek salad or something, and it was awesome. Like just the atmosphere, just being in that place is super cool. Day or night, like you can't lose there. Maya Grill is reopened, Mike. We got to experience that, so that's a big recommendation for me. Is Maya Grill,
and the menu's way better than it was previous. I mean, it's back to kind of where it was at the beginning. I liked it.
But then talking about the pools, so there's some great quiet pools at Coronado. Like I love quiet pools, but I also love the feature pool because that's where like you're gonna see like all the fun and all the like action, right? Is at the main pool. So definitely take time to be at the quiet pool, relax, enjoy that moment. But definitely go to the main pool, the dig site. And what's cool there, they have a great like a counter service restaurant with great food offerings there too. They got margaritas if that's something that you enjoy. And there's a secret table. If you sit at it and you look the right way, you can see Expedition Everest, which is always one of my favorite places to sit.
Totally. I know exactly the table you're talking about. I think the place is called the it's poolside bar that's called like the Siesta. It's two words, something Siesta. But yeah, and they have great empanadas because you wouldn't expect to have hot food. Now they don't have a big menu, but I mean you can get like frozen margaritas and order empanadas by the pool. Oh,
yeah.
Dude,
yeah, and they have like if you have kids with you, they have like chicken tenders, you know, things like that too, which is always kind of good poolside, right? I'll take some chicken tenders and a margarita all day. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and they have a good Fiesta one. So plus also, just so you know, I like Coronado for runners, and obviously I know Amy and Dana are runners. They have 2 fitness centers, mark them 2, one in the casitas, one in the tower. So because you know, you never know, like you gotta get a run in. It's raining, you don't, you know. As a Pop Century, the day that hurricane came in, I almost ran out there and looked like a fool. I just walked around. I loved head mill that day, so that's nice. Barcelona Bar is very fun right there in the tower.
I want to say there's a Census there too. If Census spas are reopening, I don't know when that will happen, but I'm almost certain there's a Census spa at Coronado too.
I don't think it's Census, but I think there is a spa over by the casitas. Gotcha. I know what you're talking about. But
yeah, it's right by the casitas. Yeah. That's not Census. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like a light one. I think Animal Kingdom Lodge has one of those too.
Gotcha. But that's always a great option. Like, you know, like, hey, I've been going hard on this vacation. I'm relaxing, trying to enjoy the resort. Why not get a massage?
Oh man, I had one at the Grand Floridian after my first full marathon. It was in 2015. I talk about a fish out of water, man. That place was so, I mean, trust me, the massage felt good. I fell asleep in like 10 minutes, so I really wasted my money.
Oh, yeah.
Pam got it for me anyway for something, Christmas or something. But yeah, it was just,
it's the most expensive nap you ever pay for, right? Because that's how massages are.
In his first 10 minutes was like, okay, you know how sore you are the day after a 26-mile run when you're really, because I really wasn't in that great of shape back then. And not that I am now, but like she's pushing on those muscles. I'm just like, oh, back off. Because, you know, they ask you what kind of massage. I'm like, I don't know. There was more than one kind of massage. I don't know. I just ran a marathon. And she just tried to hurt me. You know, it's like, come on.
That's one thing I haven't done. That's like a bucket list item for me, just like to book a massage at Walt Disney World. That'd be awesome.
It was kind of awesome. I wore the robe. It was weird.
But in the end, Coronado is just an awesome place. There's so many things to do at Coronado. And it's not even like fully open yet. Like the restaurant upstairs isn't open yet, you know, but so we're getting there though.
Yep, we're getting close. Okay, Thomas Hildebrand's got a quick question, my favorite kind of question. I have a multi-family trip in the middle of December with 3 kids. It'll be under 3. God help you.
Woo, 3 under 3.
We would like to all attend the new Christmas party. My question is, if one group has to stay at the hotel during the after party with the kids, can the groups go to the party at different times? Or do you have to go at the start of the party in order to get in? So I think Disney will let you get in at any time you like, but I mean, I think they said you can get in starting at around 7 with those tickets if you don't have theme park tickets for that day. So I would go then, but I mean, they're going to let you go in anytime you want, but bang for your buck, you're going to want to be there as long as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you have a ticket for the event, you can get in at any time. It's just a matter of how much value do you want to get out of that ticket. I understand the situation, though. 3 under 3, like not that would be tough. So, and some might need naps or extra rest.
What I want to know is what they're getting the person who is being the martyr and staying back with the 3 kids under 3 and not getting to go to a Christmas party. I mean, they something big. I mean, I don't know what you're getting them. That's gotta be pretty sweet. Okay. Back to the inbox. This one just came in 2 days ago. So it's Mike for President's the title. So it just says you've got
it has something to do about a freestyle Coke machine.
No, here's all it says. You've got my vote, Mike. I hate freestyle Coke machines. Loved hearing about the July trip. Lindsay. Okay, well, there you go. I got one vote.
I hate them too, but I'll tell you the one thing I like about them is I like drinking Diet Coke when I'm down there. And I love just adding that little cherry flavor, making it like a cherry Diet Coke. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you can't do that anywhere else at Disney except for a freestyle Coke machine. But
that's a good point. Now, my wife, like, she swears she has to like clear the machine. She says it tastes like the previous soda.
Yeah.
So she runs it a little bit. And I'm like, it's good if you have the unlimited, like we had the unlimited mugs this time. So it didn't matter. Yeah. But you got to be careful down at Disney because you don't want to use one of your refills.
Yeah, I mean, maybe run it with water because I think you can always do water. Maybe I could be wrong.
I don't care. I'm just like, yeah, a little bonus, Mr. Pig.
But yeah, they're terrible though. Let's just get rid of them. They have them at the DVC lounge and at Epcot too. But I mean, now you have to go to a cast member. They get it for you, but it takes forever because they have to hit all the buttons, and then they hand you like a 4-ounce cup.
If you get behind an 8-year-old heading into the freestyle machine, you got to take the kid out before they get there. Because I mean, I'm serious, you will dehydrate before an 8-year-old. Because that's like the greatest thing ever. They're like, they get up there and they push Coke and they're like, oh, no, don't want Coke. I'm going to get Sprite. Oh, no, don't want Sprite. Oh, then there's 17 kinds of Sprite. There's like orange Sprite and purple Sprite. Oh, forget it.
And then they make up their own custom 8-year-old flavor. Like, I'm going to put this cherry lime Sprite orange with root beer.
Like, kid, I just want a Coke Zero. Just straight Coke Zero. Move out of the way. Anyway. Yeah, kids. Okay, next question from the inbox from Tom in Maryland. Says, hey, BOGP crew, Mike has been helping me plan a trip for November for a stay at the Yacht Club. Thanks so much. We planned the trip a while ago, but as it turns out, Wine and Dine Run Disney event will be happening while we're down there. My wife and I are not runners, but in one of your recent shows, you talked about people cheering on the runners, and it sounded like a lot of fun. I know nothing about these races, so what time, what day, and what location would be best for cheering on the runners and getting a taste of that race day excitement? Love the show, and thanks for all you do, Tom.
He's at the location for the 10K. Like, he's at the perfect spot.
But I don't want to give him the bad news of what time he's got to roll out of bed.
Oh, yeah. I told him the good news that all he has to do is roll out of bed because he's there. But you tell him what time, Mike.
Well, we think that the 10K will go through the Boardwalk Beach and Yacht Club. It usually does. 10K is usually, they start actually in the Epcot parking lot. They run out on that road right outside of Epcot. Then you come back in through Epcot, through the beach, yacht, and boardwalk area. Then you exit through Epcot and you're done. So if you want, and so you could really just kind of stand, you just go out to that path by Stormalong Bay, kind of where the flying jib, like when you got to cross that path to get on the slide. We usually run right through there. I would say make a sign. They're kind of fun. You don't have to do that, but they are fun. But if you want to cheer on the runners, typically the runners will be coming through there about 6:30 or 7. So, I mean, grab a pastry maybe the night before, some coffee you can make in the room. And it is fun though. I mean, I'm a runner, but even if I wasn't, I would think it would be pretty exciting. Cause I mean, you see costumes, you see everything. I would definitely encourage you, just go out there for a half hour, see how it is.
I'd recommend around 6 o'clock. Like, those speedy guys, they don't need cheer. They don't need spectators.
They don't care. They're zoned out.
Unless you want to see some really fast people get out there earlier. But the people that really want the cheering and are going to really take that energy from you are going to be those that are later in the day for sure.
Right.
And by later in the day, we mean like 6:30, 6:45.
Exactly. No, the runners, I mean, I'll personally, and I know you feel the same way, like the runner or the cheer folks being out there means the world to us because I mean, that's the difference between like a run that I do around my lake or you running around your neighborhood and what we will go to Florida for. It's so cool to have people cheer your name and, just cheering you on with a cowbell or something. So please do go out there. And if you see us, yell,
and I'll say there is opportunity for the half marathon this is all saying without knowing if there's any course changes or anything like that. But historically speaking, I believe the half marathon for Wine and Dine should kind of go through there too. That'll just be later in the day around a normal time, like 9 o'clock or so, that you still might maybe like 8 o'clock really. Because the races do start early. Man, I forget how early those start. It's been a while.
So early. All right. Question in the live chat. Thanks so much. Liana says 2 questions. 1, how far in advance do you need to book the carriage rides at Port Orleans Riverside? We tried over there last trip and they said there was no availability. So I've never done them. I mean, I've seen them and I stay at Riverside a lot. I thought they were just kind of like walk up, but I guess maybe not. Have you ever ridden the carriage?
I've never done it either. I saw that question pop up in the chat and I was hoping that you would answer and have the answer because I wanted to know myself.
What I would do
like an awesome thing.
I know. You know what? That's one of those things that even if you don't do it, it makes the resort better. Like I love when I'm staying, say, in the princess rooms, and you can look across the Sassagoula River and you see that path, and like you can hear the clip clop of the horses' hooves. Like it's just that sound and that visual. Even if they didn't take anybody around for a ride, just makes the resort better. I love that. But my best advice there would be just when you arrive, on your first day, just go up to the person and say, "Hey, look, what's the procedure?" Because it could have changed.
Yeah.
Just, I want to ride them. So what can we do?
And I was going to say maybe call Disney ahead of time too, but like, who knows? You might get different answers. Who knows? So working with the resort directly might be the best option.
Yeah, I would say kind of sketch. I mean, just because I talked to Disney, and that's one of those things that I doubt they have like a, like an answer to, like in some kind of.
There's not like an actual guide, like, all right, FAQ guide. All right, here's the Porter.
I don't think the horse carriage ride made the FAQ. It should, but I'm just saying those kind of things usually slip through the cracks because they're like, wait, they have horses at Riverside. That's what a cast member will tell you. What? Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Remember when they used to have boats that you can rent out too? Like, didn't you do that once?
Oh yeah, dude, I drove one. I'll have to post a picture. Yeah, that was back in the day. Yeah, it was fun. Were you on there with us?
I was. I think it was Steve. Could you imagine us doing it now with our captain hats and all that? Oh man,
no, dude, we're licensed. We have the hats. Okay, number 2. How far in advance can you reserve a horseback riding 45-minute ride for 9-year-olds and older at Fort Wilderness? Thanks. Loved looking at all of your photos from the trip. Both of us. Thanks so much. So I think though the horseback riding you can book at WDW Play. Sorry, 407 WDW Play. And I think you can do that 60 days in advance. I would call that one. I'm pretty sure you can book ahead.
Yeah, that's more popular. That's more of a common thing for sure. I love the idea of like bringing horses. I'm guessing there's a kid in the family that might like horses or something like that. So that sounds like some fun ideas to do an extra activity while at Walt Disney World.
Or they're just a bandit and they just, they go around with like a mask and ride a horse and they just have a little taste on their vacation. I don't know. I don't judge. So there we go. Here we go. Eric Lane, our good buddy up in Connecticut. Have either of you ever tried resort room service? I know it's only at Deluxe and others just deliver pizza and called in-room dining, but I've never seen anyone talk about it. Okay.
I've never done it.
I haven't either. I've done it on cruise line because it's free.
I'm about to say cruise line. Like I'm very familiar with that, but like, isn't like the pizza too? Like when the dining plan is in normal use, like 2 table service credits too, just for
a $5.
It's like the biggest ripoff. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that. That's not. But I've heard people use it and they enjoy it. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, dining is an essential part of both of our trips. So I'm usually not going to eat in the room because I want to eat, I want the experience of eating at a garden grill or a beer garden or a Whispering Canyon. But the people that do it, especially if you have a little kid and you're just trying to get some grub. I've never heard any bad things about it, but cruise line, it's the best because just throw it, get a tip and you're good.
We were close to doing it once, Mike. And now I kind of wish we would have done it just for research. When we were at Coronado, remember we had that trip where Mallory got sick the second she got home, and we stayed back because Emily was sick and we had a flight issue, and we didn't go anywhere. So I thought about ordering room service that night just to try it, right? Because we didn't go anywhere, but I think I ended up picking up Pepper Market counter service or something like that. But I'm curious to know how that goes.
Remember those chocolates they gave you?
The tequila ones, yes.
Yeah, that's all I remember about that because you sent me some. I think they were.
Yeah,
good.
I did send you some, or I gave you some because the Indy Disney was shortly after that. So
right. I just remember somehow I got them, and it was from that trip because they gave them to you or something. It's kind of a we feel bad for you. We're trying.
Dude, they were awesome. They gave us a voucher to buy any clothing or anything or drinks and stuff that we wanted from the gift shop. Coronado. Disney in general, but I've had really great service at Coronado over the years for cool stuff like that.
Same. I love that resort. So there you go. Amy and Dana, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, if you get sick, you might get some free merchandise.
Don't get sick. It's not a bad place. Jennifer here in just down the road from me here in Missouri says on the responding, I guess, to the room service, she says it worked well pre-pandemic at Yacht and it was decent. One recommendation for any hotel room service is that you can call your order ahead if you know when you want your food. I usually order breakfast the night before, and then just make sure in the morning the order is on schedule just to be safe. Room service seems to take a lot longer these days, as does everything, right?
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like a good idea.
No, that's some good feedback. I like that instant feedback right there.
I do. She's on it. That's cool. I don't know if it was on cruise line or maybe at a different hotel, but I do remember them hanging like a door hanger on a room, a couple of places where if you wanted breakfast, It'd be on your door like at night. So you would fill it out and you'd leave it on your door by like 10 p.m. and they'd pick them up and then your breakfast would come.
It's perfect. It's magic.
Yeah, it is. That'd be great though. Oh my gosh. All right. My friend Lauren Cross down in Dallas, Texas says, hello, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott. My husband, best friend, and I are taking our 8-year-old nephew, Coven, down for his first trip at the end of September. He's a huge Star Wars fan. So building a lightsaber at Savi's workshop is a must for him. I got an 8:25 a.m. reservation for him to build a lightsaber. Disney has the Hollywood Studios hours posted as 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Since our reservation is at Savi's before opening of the studios, I'm assuming that we will be allowed to enter earlier than the opening of the park. Is this correct? Thanks for helping me fill the Disney void with all the great podcasts. And thanks to Mike for helping me book the perfect trip for my nephew, my husband, my best friend, and myself, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate your support. And yeah, you have hit the jackpot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, when you get one of those pre-opening park reservations, I mean, just best advice, have the camera ready because you're going to get to see Galaxy's Edge like few get to see it. And also, the all the way down, Hollywood Boulevard,
down Hollywood Boulevard. Yep, that's awesome.
Through Toy Story Land, if they will kind of let you, they'll guide you in a certain way. But yeah, that's why I always try to get a Magic Kingdom pre-park opening reservation for something.
Yep.
Just to get some pictures.
One of my favorite photos is we had the Norway breakfast like at like 7:30 in the morning, something ridiculous like that once. And like it was a really foggy morning, so I had this awesome like foggy shot of like Spaceship Earth with like no one around it. It is so cool, man. Like the photos that you can get from those early park reservations are super cool.
You get something like that though, people think you photoshopped it because there's no.
Right? I know, right?
Stuff like that. I know. It's like no, for real. I got lucky. This is a good one. All right. Let's see. Kelly Arnold's got a question here about Thanksgiving Day. Hey, Mike, Ricky, Pam, and Scott. Thanks for all you guys do. And for the continuing the show during the shutdowns. The show is a bright spot during a very stressful time. Well, thank you. It helped me because that gave me something to do every night when you couldn't do anything else. She says, I'm going down with my family at Thanksgiving for the first time. To give some background, we go to Disney World every year and bought into DVC during the COVID shutdowns. I don't want to be in the parks on Thanksgiving, but I want to do something really memorable with my family. My idea was to start with a family lunch at a resort, maybe Whispering Canyon, and then hop on the monorail and do a monorail tour of the resorts to see their Christmas decorations, gingerbread houses, try seasonal snacks and drinks, etc. And then in somewhere for dinner. Do you feel that there is enough to see around the monorail resorts for my kids, they're 8 and 10, to find this fun all afternoon? I want it to be as stress-free as possible and just have fun together getting into the holiday spirit. We bought points at Animal Kingdom Lodge, so I thought it would be nice to have dinner at our home resort to close out the day. Are there any resorts outside of the monorail resorts that are must-see resorts for their Christmas displays? We're staying the first half of the week at Old Key West and then moving to Animal Kingdom Lodge on Thanksgiving through the weekend. Thanks for any pointers you have for making this a memorable holiday filled Thanksgiving. Kelly, I love this idea because
awesome.
It is going to be less stressful than fighting the crowds and the Magic Kingdom say. So what would you say for I like this idea. And the question though about the 8 and the 10-year-old being cool with it all day, I think if you give them the expectation that you're not going to a theme park ahead of time, they'll be cool with it because you can really keep them busy. But I mean, if they were wanting to go to the, ride Space Mountain, that could be a tough sell.
Yeah. As long as you set the expectations, like this is what we're going to do this day. We got this meal planned. Like, sounds like you have I like the Wilderness Lodge, like Whispering Canyon, like lunch idea. I've actually had lunch there on Thanksgiving Day myself one year, which is pretty awesome. They had like turkey on the skillet. I can't say that that's what they'll do when you go, but chances are that's probably pretty good.
Probably.
But another area to review or to check out, and I know you're going to say this too, Mike, I love the Boardwalk area resorts, like Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach. Like they do some really cool stuff around the holidays as well. And being Thanksgiving, because usually, God, I want to say like this is all pre-COVID, but like, the Christmas decorations would start to sprinkle in like around early November, like right after Halloween. But like once you get to Thanksgiving, most resorts are going to have their trees up and things like that. So that'd be a great time.
Let me add one other twist. I would stick probably to the monorail resorts, especially if you're going to have Whispering Canyon, because you're in that area. And, the Epcot resorts are great, though. I mean, if you can get over there, do that. But here's the thing I think you're missing out on is going over to Fort Wilderness. Take that boat across. I'm telling you, it sounds hokey, but it's like you'll see it all over there as far as Christmas decorations, because these are decorations that guests themselves bring from all over the country and all over the world, some people with their motorhomes and their tent sites. I mean, it's like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but on steroids. And here's one thing we did. I don't know if you did this with us, Scott, that one year. Remember we rented the big wagon? I mean, there were like 40 people on the wagon, and we went around on this horse-drawn big wagon. Like, it was like 40 people on the wagon, maybe 30. I mean, it was a big wagon, but I mean, you can rent out smaller wagons for the family, and that would be really cool.
That'd be cool because you get to see all the sights, right? It's a good way to do it. And then just even like seeing the golf carts. Remember when we were there this last couple weekends ago, and like some of the golf carts were just even outstanding. And I just imagine like around the holidays that people are really decking them out to the holidays and Christmas. So that'd be really awesome. That's a great suggestion. And maybe get a meal over there too. You know, that's always a good option.
Oh yeah. That's good. That's really, oh my gosh. We have a question here in the live chat, Scott. Did we meet Grumpus on this trip? Now I'm feeling like I might have a name. I might be connecting dots. I don't know.
I'm trying to connect some dots because I was asked on Instagram a couple times too, like, hey, is Grumpus going to be there? So trying to figure out who Grumpus is if anyone has any inside information, please, share to me and Mike who Grumpus is, because maybe we've actually already met him. Maybe Grumpus is Wade.
Apparently. So for folks that don't know, and most of you probably don't know, we kind of get trolled by this character named Grumpus on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and we have no idea who Grumpus is other than that his or her. I mean, I'm guessing it's a him, but I don't know. But I mean, their picture was the big Lotso bear, right?
It's the Lotso bear, and they would send some interesting comments from time to time on our responses. And then once I just kind of got like a little frustrated, like who are you? And they're like, I'm just someone that likes to follow interesting people. I thought it was a good response because you and I are. I mean, we're kind of interesting, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. So we're anyway.
Now, like, that's been going on for like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, and the mystery is still out there on who Grumpus is. They haven't tweeted in a very long time, so I hope they're still here with us. But
they are too, because it's funny that this person doesn't have a profile picture.
I know, so I thought that too. Like, this person does not have a profile picture, and they're asking about Grumpus. Same thing happened on Instagram. It might be the same person. I'm going to check after the show.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a little sleuthing. All right, next question. Hey, Mike, Pick, Ricky, and Pam. My family of 6 has been eagerly anticipating our next Walt Disney World trip since our last one was in November of 2017. We're excited to be going for the 50th celebration and at the same time celebrate my husband's 50th birthday. Let me think. Your husband was born in 1971. I love that. I can do it. Probably a good chance. There's at least like 10 out of 12. As part of the celebration, my husband and 16-year-old son will hopefully be running the half marathon in January. Fingers crossed for signups, July 27th, tomorrow. Actually, yesterday, by the time this comes out, which will be our first full day. We have park reservations for Epcot. I have a few questions about how to make the most of the first day. Number 1, what are some of your must-dos while running the half marathon course? It'll be my son's first half marathon to run. And I thought it'd be fun to take advantage of all the Disney run hoopla you can't get with any other race. What may be a few stops they should make on their way for pictures or whatever? I have ideas, but here's the thing with this year. We don't know what it's going to look like post-COVID. I mean, right now there's no character meet and greets. So there may be, and what I'm guessing is it'll be the same as in the parks, like with socially distant selfies, which that's the only thing I've ever done with characters, because I don't want to wait in the line. Like 1,000 people pass you in 5 minutes if you wait in the line. I don't know how people have the patience to do that, but I do like to swing by, get pictures, and then maybe not even selfies, just take pictures of what's happening. But I don't know. What do you think for somebody's first race? Because there's a lot going on. I mean,
so definitely something they have to do in their first race. I don't do this, and after a race, I'm like, dang, why didn't I do that? Or I only did it for a couple of them. And I know a lot of our lizards, especially our Corral D group, that Chris Lively, Phil, and all of them always do. They always take selfies with the mile markers, which I think is a really cool thing to do, because they're usually like decorated to like some type of character, and it's kind of cool. Like, you don't really have to stop for it. You're just kind of running. You go up there, snap, take a selfie. So if you're doing the half marathon, get like all 13 mile markers. I think would be a really cool thing to do. And then I just try to find like cool signs that I like on the road. Like, there's a sign that has like the Epcot with the arrow pointing to Epcot, or an arrow pointing to Magic Kingdom, like on the World Drive. I love taking the selfie with that, because that's one of the cool signs. And like, you're never going to like hop out of your vehicle and take that selfie, right? That's the only chance you're going to get to do it. So
that's when you're a Disney nerd, though. You're like, I got to get my picture about this road sign that's purple.
Yeah. So I look for road signs a lot. I mean, it's a little bit out of the path, so I don't know if they're going to be running for like a PR or a time. I think you should always just run for a PR and fun when you're doing a Run Disney race. Just enjoy it. So that's why I like to go off course a little bit, not too off course, but like go off course a little bit and take a selfie with some of the signs.
All right. Number 2, where's the best spot for us to cheer them on, and where do we meet up at the end? So the best spot, I would say, again, probably the Boardwalk Beach Club, Yacht Club area, because, and I like the Boardwalk the best. If you can get in, you got to kind of work the guard shack.
Mhm.
But the reason to go to the Boardwalk is if you get there early enough, you can get like a muffin at the Boardwalk Bakery. I've done this when I've cheered. You stand outside the Boardwalk Bakery, you have coffee, you have all the goodies at the Boardwalk Bakery while you're waiting for somebody to come by.
I don't know if the half for January goes through there though, because the courses could change.
Oh yeah, the half doesn't go through there in January.
We've talked about wine and dine, and now we're talking about
you're right.
Weekend, but
Epcot parking lot maybe, like over by the bus area
near the end. So yeah, like around mile 12ish or so. You can, that's a good spot to be if you want to be near the end, or the TTC is another good spot to be like early on in the race. But that's super early. I think, it'd be awesome to see you early, but they're going to see so many fans already out there, like spectators. It's going to be so awesome. They're going to be pumped up then. I think when they hit the like mile 12,
for real,
just getting either like almost there, it'd be so great to see a loved one at the Epcot parking lot. That would be my guess.
My shirt right here, for those that are watching the video, says every mile is magic. I have a Run Disney pullover on, but miles 12 and miles 25, not so magical. Just saying. It's false advertising.
I was gonna say for the full, it's like miles like 17 to 24.
Oh, dude, they're not even close to magical. They're just punching you in the nose the whole time. Totally. Okay, number 3, my other kids, they're 9, 12, and 14, are going to be chomping at the bit to get to the parks. Any recommendations on how to plan that day? Will we be getting into Epcot late because of the race or early? So you can actually cheer the race in Epcot pre-opening. But I'm telling you what, like until that race ends, there's like a traffic. I don't even know how they're going to do it this year, because now that I think about it, all the places where they, you'd like switch lanes every 2 minutes and like everybody kind of herds across this way and that, all that stuff is dirt right now. So I don't even know how that's, they might not go through.
The race, we're saying, we're giving all these answers based on previous race courses. Like the course could be completely different. It could just be like 13 laps around the ball field at World of Sports for all we know. Who knows, right?
It could be 13 laps around Hourglass Lake.
They're going to station everyone in like 10 different spots.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Like, all right, Corral A is going to be at Pop. Corral B is going to be here.
Well, so when I used to speed skate, one of the drills we did was called Pursuit. And so the way it would work is you like, okay, so everybody started about 10 meters away from each other, and you started on a whistle. We're on a short track. We're on a 110-meter track. And if you got past, you were eliminated from the race. But if you passed somebody else, you eliminated them. That was a hardcore drill. So maybe it's going to be like a 13.1 mile pursuit. You get past, you're just see you.
If that's the case, I'm not going to register.
I'm like, well, that was fun. Thanks. Thanks.
And only one person gets a medal. There's actually going to be a winner.
Well, there'll be one. The last man standing. I'll be totally the last woman, because I'd be getting passed by the ladies for sure. Okay. Question number 4. We'd like to make a special dinner reservation for that night to celebrate the completion of the half and my husband's 50th birthday. It'll be my family and my brother and sister-in-law. Any recommendations? It could be at any Disney park, Disney Springs, or Disney Resort. My husband especially loved Ohana and La Hacienda last time we went, but we are very open to trying something new. Thanks in advance for any recommendations. I've enjoyed listening to your show since 2018. Marie's out in Centennial, Colorado. Where are you going for a big victory dinner?
It's tough to say. So we're talking the half marathon. I know, like, when I run a full, I'm not even like hungry that day. Like, I want to have my big dinner the next day.
Oh, God, yeah, the next day you're just.
But half marathons can be a little different. Like, I say, just stick with the Epcot theme. The whole race is like, I always think of like the half marathon is, especially in January, is very Epcot driven. You start there, you end there. So I'd say like maybe like a Via Napoli or something. Like carve up, get some pizza afterwards.
I've gone there. That's right after my first full marathon. Yeah. I remember Mallory fell asleep. I should have been the one sleeping. You know what? We got on a plane right after that. We ate at Via Napoli. I didn't even shower. Like, I just got on a plane, came home.
That's gross.
I know it is gross, but I didn't have time.
The Progressive commercial going to talk about that. Like,
exactly.
Your parents didn't do that, Mike. I'm sure.
That guy smells like he just ran a marathon today. Guess what? I did. No, I wouldn't do that again. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Okay. So good luck, and hopefully see you down there. That'll be a good time. Last comment here before we got to get out of here. Bob in the live chat says, and he's helping us out here. I love this. I took my wife on a Port Orleans Riverside carriage ride back in 2016. I was able to book it 180 days out through 407-939-7529. This obviously may have changed. The wife loved it. We met up with my parents and our 6 kids for dinner at Trails Inn. Phenomenal experience and nice time alone with the wife. There you go.
That's awesome. I like how Bob has that phone number programmed in his phone in case if he ever wants another nice time with the wife. Like, all right, I can dial this number and go to Riverside.
Exactly. I did something stupid. Okay, we're gonna go on Carriage ride though. Yeah, that's kind of stuff I need.
Got to have that on speed dial.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for the great listener questions. We'll do more next Wednesday. If you want a question answered, send them to mike@beourguestpodcast.com. Put listener questions in the title, and we'll get that queued up. Or you can join us at around 5:45 Eastern on Monday as we answer your questions. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. They are a platinum earmarked agency. Disney has recognized them for truly being the best of the best for the amount of trips they book each year. Plus, the feedback they get from their guests. Are the guests satisfied? Are they getting what they expect? And, I'm proud to say that the Magic for Less gets great reports, one of the best travel agencies out there year after year. And I'm glad to partner up with them. So for your next Disney trip, just visit themagicforless.com. Mention the show when you fill out that quote form, and we'll be planning a great trip together. Again, themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. It really does help us out. And thank you to our patrons. You guys support the show. You guys make this all happen, and I couldn't do it without you. And our patrons get a bonus show every Thursday called Mike in the Midwest. If you want to get in on that, get all the details over at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can follow the show at Instagram and Twitter at beourguestpod. I'm at beourguestmike. You can follow Scott at epscott, EPSCOT, and at Palm Trees of Disney. And of course, join us this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We take your calls. You don't have to wait to answer your question. Call in. We talk about it. We have a good time. And, we wrap up the weekend. So Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll see you on Facebook and YouTube. All right, we'll be back again on Friday with more fun Disney talk. So until then, for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. All right, save that one. That's a good one. That's good question.
That's good. Yep. I just put this on into a work message.
That's fine. Create. The thing is, I didn't have to edit anything. Yes.
Because Ricky was in here. I'm just kidding.
I'm saying. No, it's not. It
could be technical issues, things like that.
No, it's not that. It's the dog. And you know what? Like,
I know.
I just wanted to put the dumb dog. I love her dog, but I mean, while we're recording, I don't love the dog like knocking her mic, barking. Like, I mean, my dog's here. She's just sleeping. Anyway, I love that dog, but that dog needs an orthodontist. It's all like, you're me be Daisy. Look, I'm Daisy.
You know she's gonna listen to this.
I know she is. I do that every week to her.
I mean, she knows that we're just teasing her, and we love her.
Here's the thing: if I had that dog, I'd be a millionaire. Because that dog on Instagram, if you marketed that dog right, that dog would be popular. I mean, because it's always like, not that dog's ugly, but it's got a unique look.
Yes, Daisy has a very unique look.
And Caleb again says, like he said last night, good luck. And we're all counting on you. That's right.
And now I'm 10 striker, man. I'm sweating again. Like, if it's like 10:55 and I'm not in, and like I have that interview starting, oh man.
You know what I thought would be the ultimate trolls to like tomorrow, like or any registration day to go on Twitter and be like, yes, it opened early and put like #Run Disney, but it really isn't open yet. People would flip. Yeah. I would not do that, but that'd be the ultimate troll.
Just do that under your Grumpus account.
That would be because you know how we all are. Because that would freak me out like nobody's business. Because every time
is Wade Grumpus? Is Wade Grumpus?
He might be. I don't know.
I used to think it was Matt Parrish for the longest time because their like Twitter handle is very similar.
Could be. It could be. That's a good thought. It could be. Tanja, we shouldn't tease Daisy. I know.
Yeah, I just want for the record that was Mike doing all the teasing.
That was totally me. I mean, I'm in a crazy mood. Yeah, the cat, Mr. Snape or whatever. I don't even know what to get. As long as I don't mind animals, like she should get a goldfish as long as it's quiet. Like we podcast. I don't want noise. Guinea pig that's in the other room, cool, whatever.
Now I know why you call me because Oliver's like basically like kind of cool, under control.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got a dog, I got a dog. They just listen to the show.
Steven is trolling us, man. I was telling you, Steven is Grumpus.
I know, dude's hanging out to see if we figure it out. That's what it is.
What is this next episode? You're gonna tell me?
Oh yeah. If we didn't do that, okay. So here's what I thought of on the trip because Pam and I were talking about this the entire trip. So we'll ask each other what percent of guests do you think? Because I was, and we kept doing this through the whole trip. So like I asked her, I said, what percent of guests do you think get refillable mugs?
Okay.
Resort guests. And
So
then
just come up with a topic and then we talk about it.
totally thing. And then we'll say, maybe you're like way off, we think the other one's way off or not. And then we can kind of get some feedback on social. And I'll have a whole lot. We'll go with that.
Sounds good.
I mean, it worked for our whole trip, just going back.
And you know me, I'll probably like throw a funny one in there because I try to be funny.
Count on that. Yeah, totally. Okay, here we go. 1940. Yes. Well, that is Grumpus. I'm telling you.
Anyway, Steven is Grumpus.
He's totally Grumpus.
He's giving his percentage of.
You didn't hear a question.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the refillable mugs? No, because that wouldn't be the refillable mugs. I know what he's doing. Okay. Here we go. It's going to be fun. Welcome to episode 1940 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. We made it to yet another weekend. Holy cow, last weekend of July. We are looking at August now. Dog days of summer. Hopefully you're staying cool and having a nice summer. And we're not even talking back to school. We have too many teachers that listen to the show. Too many students. It's still summer for a while. Don't sweat it yet. Because I remember these days. As soon as it got to almost be August, I started it was like, Ted Stryker an airplane, the sweat was coming down like, oh my gosh, got another school year coming around the corner. So hang tight. Let's have some fun. Let's talk Disney. So joining me today, as it's been all week, it's the Mike and Scott show. We have hashtag Scotty G from up in Michigan. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Mike, happy to be here again. And speaking of end of summer, possibly. I mean, I know it's just still end of July, but Emily, as you know, is starting high school.
That is
nuts. And she's in marching band, and band camp starts. So this might be the end of her summer because she's going to have 5 days a week of band camp starting next week. So crazy.
Do they do 2-a-days like football?
I don't think it's that intense. But maybe. I mean, marching band is a big part of the football game in high school for sure. So.
Oh, totally. I mean, if there wasn't a band and the cheerleaders and all that, I mean, that again, don't get me going about high school football on a Friday night, but we moved. One of the biggest reasons we bought this house is because, man, they do Friday night lights in this district like nobody else. And we almost always win state this school. So, oh my gosh, because we didn't have that at our old place. They weren't even allowed to play Friday night football because we lived in kind of a dangerous neighborhood. And when they would play an occasional Friday night game, people, I hate to say this, but people always got shot. And so the games had to be at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. But, in society over the past 10 years, you have TV shows like Friday Night Lights and Varsity Blues. I wanted that. I'm a football fan. So I'm just a kid in a candy store. With this
it's crazy how it gets. I think of high school stadiums in Texas, being just as big as Spartan Stadium here, it's insane.
Yeah. The people like to troll me for being a Mizzou fan. They're like, yeah, we came to a Mizzou game out in Columbia. They said, yeah, it reminded me of a high school game in Texas, whatever.
Yeah. I love that.
We hold 70,000. Not that we ever get 70,000 since about 10 years ago, but we can hold 70. I know that how much is Spartan Stadium?
I think Spartan Stadium is about the same as Mizzou.
Okay, good. I mean, Michigan, the big house, $100,000.
Yeah, Michigan's 110,000. OSU's got around the same number. It's crazy.
It is nuts. Anyway, so let's hop into today's topic. We're going to have a good time. I want you to play along with us. If you're on a run, cut the grass, doing the dishes, what have you, jump on social media too, at Be Our Guest Pod or at Be Our Guest Mike, and let us know, and Ep Scott, of course, so we can know what you think of these things. But this is kind of a game that popped into our heads, my wife and I, is we were going around Walt Disney World a couple weeks ago. This is before Scott got there with his family. And one of the things we did on this trip that we never have done, we haven't probably done this in 10 years. We bought refillable resort mugs. And because we had 3 resort stays. We stayed at Pop Century for a couple nights, Yacht Club, and then we stayed at Caribbean Beach. And I thought, again, this is bad because I never really messed with them. At some point, they kind of were valid for your resort stay, the length of your resort stay. So I thought, well, we don't need them here because we get them at Pop 2 nights. We'll have to get a new one. But when I asked them, they say, no, they're as good as they say they can be used for 14 consecutive days. They default to 10 days when you buy them. But if you're staying 14 days, they can go into the computer and override it and change the date. So you can use it for 14 consecutive days. So when we were there for 10 nights. So I said, Mallory wanted it. She kept asking. I was like, well, I drink a lot of Coke Zero. And honestly, and there's a lot of Coke Zero at the fountains. And fountain soda is better than canned soda. I was like, why not? We'll get them this time. Her friend was with us. She wanted one. So we got them. And so that got us to thinking. I asked Pam, I said, okay, what do you think of resort guests? Okay, people staying on property. What percentage of guests do you think get resort refillable mugs? And so we kind of tried to come up with a percentage. And then we did this with all kinds of stuff the rest of the trip. So let's lead off with that one because we can have some ideas here in the live chat. Where would you put that? Okay, we're talking people that are staying on site. What percentage of folks do you think get the mugs?
So I'm going to eliminate the dining plan from this because I think the dining plan comes with those, if I recall.
That is true. Right now we're in a time.
So we'll just say like right now, point in time, right now, I'm going to say 35%, almost like one in every three.
I think you're high. I would say no greater than 15%.
Really? Okay.
I mean,
so what was your experience like? So I usually don't get them because like we'll rent a car, we'll buy some sodas and waters and things like that. But like another thing is it's a lot of work sometimes, like if you're coming back from the parks and you get to your room, you get all settled in and you're like, oh man, I just want a soda. You're like, I got to go hike all the way across the resort, to get this. So that might deter some people away. But what was your experience? Were you seeing a lot of people getting refills?
So here's the thing. Like, okay, one of the reasons we didn't, because I usually buy like on Amazon cases of Coke Zero and put them in the fridge. But when you're doing 3 resort stays, like say I get them at Pop on day 2, then I got to, throw them back in the box because they're in the fridge and get them moved to the next resort and then move to the 3rd resort. That was going to be a pain. Plus, here's the thing you're forgetting. I had 2 kids that would walk down to the food court and get me a soda if I needed it. Plus, I don't mind walking most of the time. I probably, out of the time we had the mugs, maybe got 30 sodas. I mean, you're coming way ahead at that point. And it's a little souvenir too, thing. But, I looked around and I mean, you do see a lot of people with the mugs if you're in the food court. But I just can't imagine that many people, know that they're available, like know the deal. I would say probably 50% of the people don't even know there's refillable mugs.
Yeah.
And so that eliminates part of it. I would guess, 15, 20% max. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, but it was a good deal for us. I mean, we definitely,
when you have a length of stay like you did, you're at 3 different resorts like that, man, now I'm kind of thinking like, man, should I have done that on my last trip too? Right. Like you can get a really good value. I see Wade's in the chat, I think, and it doesn't even have to be your whole family. Cause I think Wade's son bought a mug, but like Wade and Shelly didn't, so like it does. And that's like 1/3 right there. That's like with my 35% right there.
They're passing around like it's a communion or something.
Now, if you could use them in the parks, it'd be a totally different story.
That is absolutely right. But then here's my thing. I hope they never go to that because I just think it would turn into like a Six Flags situation. Because people carrying them around, it just kind of, I don't know. And again, this is totally, I'm being judgmental here, but it just kind of like, it lowers the look. I think if everybody's hauling around like a popcorn bucket and a refillable mug, I mean, it looks like you're just trying to, you're like trekking across the desert.
You probably see a lot of waste of it too. Like, I don't know, like dumping of the soda, like, I can get another one later or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like I can see it getting like messy and making the park look kind of not so clean.
That's true. But I mean, there are places that do that. So I don't know. So let us know what you think on that one. So, okay, give me let's go back and forth with one of yours. What do you think?
All right. This is kind of a weird one, but I don't know like what an average trip is like for someone. So just say the average is a 4-night, 5-day trip. What percentage of guests skip Animal Kingdom as one of the park days?
Oh man. Okay. That's a good question. I would say I would go guess that skip Animal Kingdom Park. I would say
I'm like on a 5-day ticket. Ticket.
I would say 40%.
Wow. That seems high. I was actually going to say 20%.
I skip Animal Kingdom on like a 7-night stay.
I know you do. That's why I wanted to ask you that question.
We went one time in 10 days. It's just the thing is, here's the thing. When I go there, I have a good time. It's not that I don't know what it is. It's like a mental thing. It feels like the Animal Kingdom Park is hard. Like to me, like it's work. But then when I go there, like I love going on the animal trails. I love the safari. I love dinosaur. That's one of my favorites. I love eating at the Tule Canteen. I could eat at Flame Tree. We have a great time. Maybe it's because when we have to run that parking lot for the Run Disney races,
you got some bad memories of that park, right?
I don't know. I mean, I would say maybe 40%, but maybe that is high. I don't know. What about you?
I said 20%. And it could be higher. It might be closer to your 40, which is unfortunate because I love going to Animal Kingdom. I think this Animal Kingdom is like Emily's favorite. And on this last trip, based on like the plans we had with you and other friends, like we were like 7 days into it and we hadn't been to Animal Kingdom. And man, was I hearing it from my daughter. Like, when are I'm going to remove myself from a park reservation, and just go by myself, basically kind of action. But like, I love being there. Like, the counter service is so good at Animal Kingdom. Like, and just being in that environment, that atmosphere, like I just love being there. And obviously, like, it's always going to be the last one on everyone's radar, I feel like. But man, it probably is closer to 40, but I hope it's more like 20 because like it's a great park and everyone should be visiting it.
I agree. I mean, Disney has done that park right. I mean, it is so, themed. There's such great attraction. Everest, people love it's one of the greatest roller coasters. It's so themed and it's fun. I don't like the backwards part. Actually, 3028 did a show about this and I just can't do the backwards part. I just can't. But yeah, I would. This is the thing. I'd love to have the stats on this. Disney's never giving these kind of things, but I mean, I would love this kind of stuff. I would.
But on a 5-day ticket, like people are going to do 2 days at Magic Kingdom. They're probably going to try to do 2 days at Hollywood Studios, and then
studios now. Yeah.
And then the question is, do I go to Epcot or Animal Kingdom? And most people are going to go to Epcot. So that's why I feel like that it is probably being left out a lot.
Here's a good one. Okay, here's my next one. It's good. That was a really good one. What percentage of guests in the Magic Kingdom on any given day ride the Astro Orbiter?
Ride the Astro Orbiter on any given day. I think that's going to be low too. I'm going to go 10%. I'm going low, man.
I would go 5% on that one.
You're going even lower.
Okay, because I mean, it took me. I'm just looking at my personal experience. God, I didn't ride that thing for probably a decade when I went to the Magic Kingdom because it was just like, oh, it's a spinner, and it's a pain, And then once you ride it, either you like it. I love it because I think Mallory really loves it, and so we always make a point to ride it now. But I mean, once you ride a couple times, it's like it is a pain to wait for that elevator. That elevator
is so hot.
Oh my God! Every time I ride that ride, I pray that thing doesn't break down with me in the elevator because it would kill you like within 5 minutes in July. If you got stuck on that elevator, you would just be, it's like an oven. Yeah. You'd be cooked.
Yeah. I remember, thank goodness it was during the pandemic where the line wasn't long, but it was me, Elizabeth, and Emily, and you and Mallory last summer. And we went to go do it. Our girls love to do it. And we got up there, we had to wait, we got into the elevator, we get up there and like, oh, we just got some lightning, ride's closed.
It's like Animal Kingdom, it's work.
Yeah. And then you got to wait for another elevator to get back down. Like, it's such a process, but it's a cool view from up there. And I love it at night. Like, if you can catch like a happily ever after, like you and I watched Wishes from up there. You and I were in a rocket watching Wishes.
That was a strange night.
That was a memory. But yeah, it's cool. This kind of reminds me of Card Sharks a little bit. Like I said 10%, and you're like, I'm going to go lower. Right, like, do you remember that game?
Yeah, but do I remember that game? I watch it every morning on the treadmill on Pluto TV. with Jim Perry or Bob Eubanks.
Eubanks, yep. That'd be sweet if we actually had the statistics for this. Like Disney, like bring someone in and like, oh yeah, that's actually 8%.
That's right. And Mike has control of the cards. Do you switch or do you higher? Totally. Oh my God.
Don't switch out the jack. Just go lower.
My luck, I get a 7 every time. Like,
yeah,
whatever. It can't change.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was 10% is probably close, but I would say I bet you we're right in between them, 5 and 10. That's kind of a tough one. All right, because I just don't think it's work. Okay, what do you give us another one?
I'm gonna take mine to food because I love food so much, and I love table service dining as well. So, what percentage? I'm gonna stick with the same scenario I just gave: a 4-night, 5-day stay. What percentage of guests don't even eat a table service meal? They do counter service 100% of the time.
Oh, I would say that's high, because here's the thing. I think that you're taught as somebody that's a Walt Disney World first timer or somebody that's a newbie to this whole thing that table service dining is prohibitively expensive. I'll be honest. I mean, that's how my family was growing up. Like when we went to Six Flags, dude, counter service food was too expensive. What we did, and I'm not kidding, it was fine. I'm not trying to dog out my parents because we always had a good time. We had limited means growing up. And I mean, going to Six Flags a couple times a year was a big deal, but we would leave the park at lunchtime. We'd get in my dad's pickup. And we drive down, it's like 5 minutes down the road in Eureka, Missouri, go to the KFC. We get a bucket of chicken and some biscuits and stuff and some sides. And we just eat it in the back of the truck at the parking lot at Six Flags and go back into the park.
Yep.
And I would say that that's more common than you might think. So I would say percentage that only eat quick service. Disney does a good job with their marketing of dining, though. And I think everybody, when character dining's available, a lot of people want to maybe do that once or twice. I would say 40% of guests don't just only eat quick service. I'd say 60% do the table service. Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I was going to go 49% of guests eat counter service only on like a 5-day trip.
Yes, you think only half of the guests were eating a table service meal?
Yeah. Because I think you're right. I think a lot of guests want to save money and save time. If you're doing a shorter trip, like, I mean, I'm calling it a 4-night, 5-day trip. That's not necessarily short by any means, but it's kind of on the shorter end for those listening to this show, right? And then it just seems like it's a time saver. You know, I'm just going to quick grab something and go to the next attraction or whatever. So I think it's 49%, but I would love to know that stat too. It would be fun to know all these.
I know this is killing me now that we don't know. But Tanja, she's saying down in Nashville, she's saying 70%. Maybe. You know what? She might be right because do you have to be a big Disney fan to really be into the table service dining? Maybe. I mean, maybe you just don't think, because the thing is, like, you're going to happen upon.
You got to know, you got to be prepared. You know, you got to be prepared to make ADRs, right? If you just show up there, like, you got your room and everything, like, and you might not know about table service, then you're like, we'll just not do that this trip. That could happen a lot, I feel like.
Well, plus, like, you're going to happen upon a Casey's, because you're going to walk past Casey's. You're going to see somebody rolling out with a dog, you know, because you got to eat. So you're going to turn to the quick service places if you got to eat. You're right. I mean, you got to, especially nowadays, you got to have an ADR. You won't get in. Mm-hmm. But I wonder in like normal times, that is a really good, I don't know. That's a really good, I'd love to see, but 70% might be right, because it could be. I would say your average guest is, you know, looking to just dine. And plus, here's the other thing you got to think about. A lot of folks talk about with table service, it doesn't kill your day, but if you're trying to get as many attractions in as possible, you could lose 90 minutes like that on any kind of
easily.
Yeah, that's funny. I love this. Oh man, we got to do this maybe on Sunday night. We got to have some. I want to hear what other people throw out.
I would love to hear like others' opinions on our answers and give us some new topics too. That'd be fun too. I
love this kind. This is what the kind of stuff at Disney, like, I always wonder about. Like, okay, let's go with this. What percentage of guests ride the Skyliner in any given trip? Say right now. So limited access, depends what hotel you're in, but overall, all the guests staying on property, what percentage of guests do you think ride the Skyliner at least once?
77%.
77%?
Yep.
You think?
I'm going, and I'll tell you why. Like, when the first times I rode the Skyliner, like, and they still kind of do this from now. Like, I was leaving the studios and they kind of asked you, like, where are you heading? You know, where are you heading to? Make sure like you're taking the right mode of transportation. And the first time I did it, like, the 5 groups in front of me were all just like, I just want to ride it. I just want to ride this. I just want to see what it's like. And I think a lot of people might do that, right? They're curious about it and they don't even care where it's going. They just want to ride it. I know it's a bold number, man, but that's what I'm going with.
That's throwing it down, because I was going to say like 35%, because I would think that, okay, say you're staying in a Monorail resort, or you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, or you're at a Riverside in a French Quarter when they reopen, or an All-Star, something that's off the Skyliner line. But you're right. I didn't think about that.
But if you're at Epcot and you want to take a midday break, you might go to Riviera, Primo Piatto for some lunch, or go to Caribbean Bee, or go to Pop for some lunch. I think people do it as like their midday break.
And I bet you more people than not, or more people than I would have thought. I never even thought about that idea that, hey, we just want to ride this because it looks kind of fun. I mean, because they are colorful, and
you're seeing it. If you're even if you don't have a car, right? You're on a bus, you're on Lake Buena Vista Drive, you're going to see them. You're going to be on that road at some point. You're going to be curious about what it is. You're going to hear a bus driver talk about it, probably. You know, you're going to hear someone talk about it, and you're going to leave the studios or Epcot at some point and be like, hey, you know what? I want to check this out.
That's a good, dude. I love these. I can't stop thinking about. Lisa says, you know, some folks have fear of heights that might keep them riding it.
Yeah, that's the 23% that aren't doing it. From my number.
I do like this idea though, because And like Eric even says, it could be a great midday break from Epcot. You get on at the International Gateway. That's about a 10-minute ride over to the Riviera and Caribbean Beach, and maybe just do the loop and hop back on if the line's not long at Caribbean Beach and there's 20 minutes. You're sitting down. I like it. That's a cool one. Okay, we're way off on that one, so we'll see what people say. Okay, so let's go with another one.
So you and I talk about this. We always joke. Well, it's wishful thinking that if we could just have 60 seconds of income in a park day at Walt Disney World, right? Because there's money being spent at all times, right? And so I'm just going to ask you, you're in the Magic Kingdom, having a great day with the family. Say it's like, say you just got done having lunch. It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere in there. What percentage of guests in that park have paid to park at the TTC that day?
Oh my gosh.
And the amount of money that Disney has brought in just from parking.
So obviously that would be your offsite guess, because if you're staying at a Walt Disney World Resort, you're parking for free.
Yep.
I would still say the Magic Kingdom on a given day, 55% of the guests are offsite. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
So I was going to say the same number because, and the reason I asked this question is on my last trip, I rented a car and I was backed up several times at the studios just trying to get in. I usually take a bus to Magic Kingdom because that parking that's a whole process on its own, right? Parking at the Magic Kingdom, but that's the example I gave. But I swear, Mike, every other car was handing out money, and paying,
right?
So I think it's about 50% are paying the park.
I got to fill everybody on this conversation that we're having so we can kind of elaborate on this, and mind boggling. Like when we talk, because we talk about this and this is what we're talking, because I came up with this one day, I was thinking about this. Okay. So we all know the scope of Walt Disney World, the 4 theme parks, the hotels, the water parks, all the restaurants, Disney Springs. Okay. So any given time, say you pick 1 minute. Okay. Say like you win some kind of a lottery and they give you like 1:17 PM on like a Tuesday. Like you get 1:17 PM Tuesday, pick a date, could be any day of the year. We're going to give you that 1 minute of every receipt in every cash register on property just for that 1 minute. Think about how many places during that 1 minute, that cash register is collecting some kind of funds. It could be like you said, a toll booth at a parking lot. Could be, somebody checking out at Wine Bar George. Could be somebody, buying a Dole Whip in Adventureland, or somebody paying their bill at Pop Century at the check-in desk.
That's the minute I want. No.
Oh my God, for Grand Floridian. But could you imagine if you got that 1 minute of just because there's always like a timestamp on the statement, right? Mm-hmm. If you got the 1 minute of that revenue just in one day, 1 minute, I mean, you have to be talking millions of dollars, I would think, right? For 1 minute any day.
I mean, I don't know if it's in the millions, but it's got to be close. Like for just 1 minute. I mean, there's a lot of money being spent at all times.
I would bet it's at least $1 million. I mean, because think about it. You got mouse gear. Because somebody's paying their bill at a hotel. That's a big charge. Dole Whip, not so much. What's parking, like $20?
Yeah, $25.
Holy smoke.
I actually upgraded to preferred parking on this last trip. I haven't told you that story yet, but I did.
What got you? Was it the water bottle? You're thirsty?
I didn't even get a water bottle. I just wanted to get into the studios and get a Starbucks so bad. Like I just wanted to be a little bit closer.
You're killing me. You did not. Oh, man.
I just wanted to see it out, check it out. And it wasn't even really that much closer, which is kind of unfortunate.
Okay. Here's my next one. It's kind of self-serving. How many people on, say, the Magic Kingdom in a given day? Let's say Epcot. I don't know why I'm saying Epcot. We'll switch it up. Doesn't matter.
Let's do it.
How many people, what percentage of people do you think have ever heard of a Disney podcast that are in that park in a given day? I've always wondered this because, this is what I do, for 13 years. But I wonder because, some people come up like, I listen to the podcast and it's exciting. But well, give me your number, then I'll continue the discussion.
Yeah. This number is going to grow. Like if you would ask me this question 10 years ago, the number is like quadrupled at this point. I feel like
easier to get them nowadays.
And plus, it's a lot easier. More people know about them. My dad knows about them,
it's really grown.
That know that a Disney podcast exists. Is that what you said? Okay. Or listen to one.
No, just they've heard one. Let's say they've listened to at least one Disney podcast at some point. It could have been 10 years ago, just one episode.
Okay. I'm going to go 30%. because I think there's a lot of like locals and regular. I mean, heck, the Be Our Guest podcast has a lot of representation always down in the parks, right, at Epcot. So I'm gonna go 30%.
Really? See, this is why I love this, because I would have said 5%.
Really?
I mean, because you gotta think. Okay, even if people listen to podcasts, like the Disney podcast fandom overall. I mean, and again, we're preaching to the choir here because we listen to. I have so many that I listen to, but I would say that. I mean, you got to be a hardcore Disney fan, but I mean, I guess that's who's in the parks for the most. Well, maybe not the most part.
Not for the most part, but I mean, you're gonna know that podcast. Like, I think it's so different booking a trip now than like 10 years ago. Like, one of the things you might go to is like, hey, we're booking this trip to Walt Disney World. Like, oh, cool. Like, well, I listen to Beatle podcast. I listen to news podcasts, like Harry Potter podcast. Hey, let's see if there's a Disney podcast. I'm sure someone's going to search it and then find something and then listen to it before the trip. Like, I think that number is going to be higher than the 5%.
That is a good point, because it's almost like kind of a form of like getting a guidebook nowadays.
It kind of is. Yeah. Free. And it's free, right? Like, everyone loves free.
That is, dude, I love free. Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder again. I wonder because
I think a lot of people just know about it now. Like podcasts are pretty common. I'm surprised like we haven't found the next thing, right? But because they've been around for a little bit now. But
and Tanja says, they come up on a Google search nowadays. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. And she said 80% as her guess, and I mean,
dude, I wish, I hope. That'd be great for me. I don't know, because I see the numbers like I see all of our statistics and stuff, and I just wonder. I mean, because Lou's bigger. I mean, there's a lot bigger podcasts than us. We're hanging tough, but I've always wondered that because like you're right though. Like a decade ago, because the podcast has been 13 years now. Mm-hmm. I tell somebody I do a Disney podcast, like what's a podcast? And I'd be like, oh, it's kind of like a radio show, like an AM radio show, but it's for Disney fans. You can listen to it on your phone, but you got to sync your iPod. Now they're just right there, and plus, like, I mean, you hear about podcasts in the mainstream media all the time. So you're right. But I would say,
I talk about it at work, like. I say like, yeah, my best buddy has a Disney podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like they don't question like a Disney podcast. Like it just sounds normal,
It's kind of normal. Yeah. But I went over to Silver Lake City. I didn't look for a podcast. I wonder if there is one. I'd have to look.
You and I talked about this is a podcast for everything.
There is a podcast. Yeah. I mean, everybody's got a podcast. I mean, that's one of those things. So yeah, interesting. Okay. So give us another scenario.
All right. So this is ideally for you, because I know your family, especially in the summertime, but it might be like a, 365-day a year thing for you. Your family loves to get some type of dessert at night, even when you're in St. Louis, in Missouri.
Fritz's last night.
Yeah, I saw your at Fritz's last night. You had Baskin Robbins the night before, because I did too. Yeah. So what percentage of guests, all property-wise, so they don't have to be in the Magic Kingdom, they could be at the studios, at the resort, Blizzard Beach, whatever. What percent of guests get an ice cream on a given day?
Okay, so are we counting Dole Whip as ice cream? That's a big factor.
Ooh, yeah, I'll count Dole Whip as ice cream in this case.
I would say I'm going 35% on that one. And the reason is, I think the folks that some people are just trying to not spend money, right? Yeah. And I think that's a legitimate thing. Like they might not want to. But again, like my thing is when I'm on vacation, we always end every day with a sweet treat. Now, sometimes it's not ice cream, but most of the time it is, because that's kind of what our family likes. Mm-hmm. But we could end up with like a funnel cake at Epcot or something like that. But
that's true.
I would still say 35% because I don't know. That's good. Because then the question is like, what percentage of guests in the day with the sweet treat? And I would say that's probably.
And maybe I should have worded it that way, because now I think about it, like not everyone can eat ice cream, that they might have like lactose or whatever,
Hey,
or
you want a little TMI? Paige eats ice cream and she probably shouldn't. I'm just saying.
Me too. That's why I said that. But then, and like, it's not easily, and not every like station is going to have an ice cream necessarily, but like, sometimes you think of like being in the Magic Kingdom, you're like, yeah, I'm going to get an ice cream on my way out or whatever. And like, do we put Mickey Bar in this conversation too?
Yeah, Mickey Bar, Mickey ice cream sandwich. I've switched teams. I used to be.
I'm team sandwich too. So I guess I should have been a little more specific. I really left that question really open ended. with Dole Whip.
Good conversation. That's why I love. This is the kind of stuff we did the whole trip, because it leads to other questions, right?
But I think 50%. I'm gonna split the middle. I'm gonna go 5-0. I think 50% of a guest is gonna have some type of ice cream every day. Now I say that, that seems high though, doesn't it?
Well, no, it does. I don't know. That's the whole thing. Like to me, that seems like that's
if you throw in like a Mickey bar and a Mickey sandwich, like I think that really, because those carts are everywhere. Like those are easily accessible. They're in every gift shop. You can get one. Like sometimes, like we'll just get one in the gift shop. I know you do that too, right? At night.
That is like if you haven't had your sweet treat for the night, you get back to your hotel and like, say Cafe Rick's at Coronado's closed, but they're taunting you with those cupcakes in the window, but it's closed. Most places you can go at least to that little like, portable freezer thing that's got, it's got Mickey bars, it's got ice cream sandwiches, sometimes the ice cream sandwich cookie. That's kind of like your last minute, okay, save you, get your sweet treat for the night. I've done that many times.
Yeah.
That's a good question though.
It's a fun game. It's a fun game. I like it.
Okay. Here's the next one. What percentage of guests, this is kind of for this week. Okay, so we go down there tomorrow. Everybody on property. What percentage of folks on property at any given point do you think have run at least one Run Disney event?
Have run at least one Run Disney event.
A 5K. They've done, any distance. Let's say in person at Walt Disney World.
And we're talking tomorrow. I'm going to say 7%.
That's about where I was going. I was going about 5.
Yeah. 7 might be high. I almost went 4. I almost went 4%.
5 might be high. Yeah, I agree because you got to think about, there's not a lot of runners. Like
there's not a lot of runners, and I think
population that probably wipes out 75% of the people.
And I think for every Run Disney race we do, like here's a question: for every Run Disney race you do, what percent of those participants it's not their first Run Disney race?
Well, they ask that right when you're in the corrals. And the chat room's coming in way lower than us. Diane saying 0.5%, Eric saying 1%, Corbin of Amber saying 1%. They're probably close. And now that I think about it, they're probably right.
Yeah.
It's probably 1%.
So let me flip that question to you then. What percent? So any Run Disney race you're doing, what percent of those participants, it's not their first race for Run Disney?
So any given race, it's not their first race because they ask this, right? When you're waiting in the crowds, they always ask like, who's
they do. Yeah.
I would say 80% of the people are running.
I was going to say 92%.
Yeah, I would say it's at least 80. It's at least 80% are running
that is like one of the biggest return guest things right there is Run Disney, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think we went way too high now. It's probably 1%.
I saw someone say 0.05. I think that actually might be the answer.
That is, you know what? I'm not kidding because when you think about it, like most people aren't going to run a race, period. That's probably 90% of the people. That's probably more than 90% of the people. And then what are the chances you would know about Run Disney? What are the chances you got into a race? Because it's a lot of work. But then again, like you see people in Run Disney stuff as you go around the parks occasionally. And
that's what Mike. Yeah, I remember you're down there for race weekends most of the time.
That's true. You see people with medals, but it's marathon weekend, Mike. Yeah. That's true. That's a good point. And also, maybe it's that I'm looking for people in Run Disney stuff because that's my jam.
Yeah.
There's so many questions. Okay, let's do a couple more.
Okay, so, I think we kind of talked about something funny, like a souvenir we could make in the last listener question show. So I'm going to spin it to this. What percentage of guests in Epcot point to Spaceship Earth and say to their family, like, that's the big golf ball?
Oh my God, that's a perfect question. Oh man, I'm going high on this one. I'm going to say, because I hear it. I don't know if I hear it, like, because it bugs me that I hear it more.
So you hear it more because you're like,
I'm listening. Yeah. I would say, oh my gosh, I'd say 60% of people call Spaceship Earth the golf ball.
Dang, that's the exact number I was going to go. I was going to go 60%. I think it's right.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like, oh no, it's not a golf ball. It's Spaceship Earth, man. It's one of the best attractions ever.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Let me throw one back at you on that one. What percent of guests in Epcot do you think? How could I word this? Well, because it doesn't matter. We can go either way.
Yeah.
What percentage of guests in Epcot know that there's an attraction inside of Spaceship?
So my first time I was at Walt Disney World, I had no idea.
I think it's higher than you might think. I would think, everybody knows that's a ride.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like the way I'm spinning that to me is like what percentage first time guests are in Epcot, because like I feel like the first timers, unless you grab a map or something, right? Or like really look closely. That could be a good question. What percent of guests grab a map? I'm gonna say 21% of guests don't know that there's a ride. I know it's kind of high, but that's the number I'm going with.
I would say it's about like that. I was going to say 20. So but it kills me. Like, that is like one of the, that's what, yeah, this is why it hurts me. Because, right, I mean, if you're in Epcot and you don't ride Spaceship Earth, man, that is a crime. That is a crime. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this, man. This is the kind of show, and I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're listening,
yeah, this is fun. Yeah,
this is totally my kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to use Eric's question because he's been hanging with us here in the chat, giving us all kinds of feedback along with everybody else. We sure appreciate that. It makes it more fun. But this is a good question. How many people on a given day, say non-pandemic times, do character meet at least one character throughout the day? Like, stop. I'm not talking a character meal. Like, you go out of your way to meet Mickey in Town Square, or you meet, I don't know. Say you meet what's that McQuack duck at Animal Kingdom, the airplane guy.
Oh,
I didn't.
Oh my god,
with him though.
I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking about. Oh my god, he's got the leather jacket.
Yeah, it was a cool picture. I got a picture with that cat. I don't know what
Launchpad, maybe.
Launchpad McQuack.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but
help us out in the chat. Anyway, so what do you think's the percentage on folks that actually stop and do a character meet and greet in a normal day?
So I think Eric even threw out a number earlier about how many rides per Astro Orbiter are done per hour.
Yeah, he was tracking the numbers in the chat.
And I think the character meets per hour are lower than that. So I'm going to go like 4%.
You think only 4%?
I think it's really small. Think of how many people are in the Magic Kingdom at one time, and like you think like I don't know whatever the number is. You think they're all waiting in line to do a character meet and greet? I don't know.
But I mean, over the course of it, this is where it's crazy because Court of Amber's saying 80%. We are all over the place at this point.
Okay, I know I went ridiculously low because I love character meet and greets. Like I'm one that would do one every day, but I can't believe I went 4%. But that's what my gut said.
And Eric and Jessica letting us know it's almost a Launchpad. It's Launchpad McQuack is the guy. So, and also Lisa, thank you for that. We lost our Disney cred. Yeah, okay.
I said Launchpad, didn't I?
Did you McQuack? Okay. I didn't know his last name.
I didn't say McQuack, but I said Launchpad.
Okay, there we go. So we got him. God, this is a great question, though, because, I mean, like people go to, this is the reason you go to
Walt. You go to Disney, right? Yeah.
Especially like the Magic Kingdom. Like, you got to meet Mickey. That's another question. How many people in the Magic Kingdom do you think under normal times meet Mickey Mouse? I would say that's really low. But if you put all the characters in a given day, because all of a sudden, say, Stitch pops out in Tomorrowland,
yeah.
I mean, I've got my picture with him just because it's like an opportunity. I didn't go there.
But that's not a character meet and greet. Because like if he comes out for that dance party or whatever, like taking a selfie with him.
You don't count that.
He's on stage.
I'm dancing with him and I do a selfie with him. That's not a character meet and greet, you don't think?
I don't think so. I think it's queuing up for one, like at Mickey in Town Hall, which is not a thing right now. But you know, or none of these are a thing right now. I guess is the way you interpret it, right? Like I think it's queuing up because you just said character meals didn't count.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Let's switch it up here. Okay. Let's clarify this one. How many people do you think leave a theme park? Okay. They go to a theme park that day. When they leave the theme park, they have at least one photo on their camera phone with a character that day. Let's just say that because times have kind of changed.
Yeah. Well, I think his question was like pre-pandemic too, but yeah. So I think that's going to be higher because there's opportunities where Tigger walks by because he's got to go back to the woods, and take a little break or whatever, or the Tomorrowland Incredibles party. So I think you're going to see a lot of selfies taken there. So I'd say like that's 35%.
I'll go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that because that's probably about.
This is a great conversation. I love this episode.
I hope you guys do this at dinner tonight with your family because this is something that you can totally make your own and just have, and it never ends. And plus, we have Lisa singing the DuckTales song all night. She says, "DuckTales." Okay, I'm going to do one more, then you do one more, and we're getting out of here because I know we're going long. Here we go. Because Diane says she just joined late and she wanted to know. And this is another great question from the chat. What percentage of guests at the Magic Kingdom on any given day wear some kind of Disney attire to the park?
Ooh,
that's a great one. Oh my gosh. So I do every time.
So I guess my question is like, I hope I don't offend anyone here, but I do not like those like broke shirts or spoiled. Or,
yeah, I'm kind of against the ones that say like most expensive day ever.
Yeah, I don't care for those shirts. Are we counting that as Disney attire?
Yes, we are in this.
We are? Okay. Because they usually have like mouse ears on them or something. Oh boy. I think it's kind of high because like I do it often. Well, I wear polos normally, but during the day I normally wear like a Disney t-shirt. 52%.
I'm going 75%.
Oh, you're going high.
I just see it. Maybe I just notice it more, but I would say there's. I just never got my light blue Mickey ringer tee, which you got. But yeah, killing me.
I guess there's a lot of matching shirts that are Disney, right? And then if you take like a group of 30, there's 30 out of 30 right there. You know, that's really going to increase the percentages.
That's true. That's true. I love the ones that say I don't do matching shirts and they both have them on. That's pretty clever. I do like that because that's pretty funny. Yeah, I would say 75% because especially like the big family vacations, like it seems like when they go to the Magic Kingdom in particular, like that's the day they pull out the Disney outfit.
Yeah.
I would say more than any other park.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Magic Kingdom is where like you see the Peter Pan, like I'm so fly, I never land shirts. There's probably that's probably 10% of the shirts right there.
Totally. And I mean, I'll be honest, like when I go to the Magic Kingdom, I always pull out just like a plain old Mickey shirt. You know, that's like my day to wear. Actually.
Or your Thunder Splash space shirt.
Yeah, that what I got, but it's like this one. You know, it's like I pull this dude out when I go to the Magic Kingdom. Okay, zip the shirt back up. Okay, I'm wearing his undershirt today because it's cold down here. Okay, give us one last one, Scott, and we're getting out of here, but then we'll continue it Sunday night.
I gotta ask this one.
Oh no.
No, it's not even like funny. It's like a legit question.
I thought you were how many people have taken a selfie at Trails Inn in the men's bathroom? We don't want to go
there. I did want to go there. I said I was going to do a funny one. I really didn't do a funny one. Maybe the Spaceship Earth, the golf ball one. But anyway, what % of guests going to the Hollywood Studios had no idea that you had to get a Rise of Resistance boarding group to ride it?
That's a good question. I would love to know this one. And I'd say it's 25%, which is way too high.
Yeah, I was going to say 10 because I think they do a really good job of like really trying to inform you that this is what, even when you have your park pass, they give you that email, right? Saying like, hey, this is what you got to do if you want to ride this attraction. But a lot of people are probably ignoring that. They're on vacation, you know? So I think it's 10% don't know.
Yeah, it's probably closer to, because don't you get in like a push notification the night before saying, you know, here's the procedure for tomorrow?
Maybe I don't, and it's in the app, right? But not everyone's necessarily using the app because not everyone has a smartphone, which is how you have to get it too. You know,
holy cow, Lisa's saying 45%.
Yeah.
Playing.
I like Eric's answer, 20%, but the more the better.
Yeah, that's true. 99. No, just kidding. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, what % of guests actually get the ride? It would be I want Disney to tell me that answer.
Yeah, I would say that's at least 80%, at least probably 90% if you use the 1 o'clock.
Oh no, I mean like in the park, like how many? Not if you get a boarding pass, like. You think 80% of the guests get to ride it?
Oh no, you'd be thinking that way. I'd say that in a given day at the studios, for the folks that want to ride it, that try to get a boarding group, I'd say 85% actually successfully will get to. I'd say it's only 50% that want to ride it don't get to.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
it can't be higher than that, man. That people would be fired up, don't you think?
You think 85% of the guests in the park get to ride it? That day,
ride it. They went for a boarding group. Yes, I would say yes. Because I mean, if you had 50% of the whole park not getting to ride it and they wanted to, I think it'd be crazy. I don't know
because think of how many times we get shut out, Mike.
I know, but I didn't go to guest services, but I think most people would.
They probably do.
Okay, we're stopping here, but then we're going to continue this Sunday night. So you got 48 hours to think about these things and come up with some other ones for us, and we'll answer them, and then we'll throw them out to the chat room and call in. This will just be a fun Sunday night kind of hangout thing. Yeah. And we'll commiserate and talk about marathon too. We'll see how that goes.
Oh boy, we might be grumpy on Sunday. Just a
little grumpus. That's right. We talked about grumpus twice in 2 shows. Okay. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed today's show. A little bit different, but play this with your family and so forth. And we'll talk about it on Sunday night. So today's show, of course, brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. I'll tell you what, most of the guests over at the Magic for Less are very, very happy with the service they get when they book their trip with the Magic for Less. We always strive to give every guest an amazing experience every time. So when it comes time for your next Disney trip, just check out themagicforless.com, fill out the quote form, mention the show, and you and I are going to plan a great trip together. Again, themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. 100% helps us out there. Over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons. You guys allow us to do these shows each and every week. I can't thank you enough for that. And our patrons get a extra show every Thursday. called Mike in the Midwest. So check out all the benefits for becoming a patron over at patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Again, Sunday night we'll be live on Facebook and YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, continuing on, taking your calls, having fun, laughing. That's what this is all about. So please do join us for that. You can follow us on the social media, Instagram and Twitter at BRGuestPod. For me, at BRGuestMike is actually me. Ricky runs the BRGuestPod account. And of course, Scott's at Epcot and at Palm Trees of Disney. Follow him over there. Subscribe to the show on Facebook and YouTube. Just search for the BRGuest Podcast. And we'll see you Sunday night. So one last percentage, 100%. Thank you for hanging with us for this show. It was fun. It was fun. It's got good ones, though. Those were good. I love it. A lot of fun. All right, so we're going to get out of here and see you on Sunday night, getting those calls ready. So until then, for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Friday. Stay safe and have a great weekend, and we'll see you real soon. That was fun. That was
a good Monday night. This is a good week of episodes, man. We crushed those.
I think we did. I love these, man. These are so much fun. And this one can just go for, this is one of those things, like, we just kept doing it for everything. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Because, like, the thing is, I would see things totally different than my wife. I think because I'm, like, so plugged in.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, like, that's a bad thing. Because
you think everyone is plugged in.
Exactly. And she's like, no, everybody's not a Disney nerd, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, they are. Yes. Everybody I know is a Disney nerd, most people. So
look at Wade doing some math on, like, Rise.
Okay, so let me see. What's he got? 20% get to ride Rise of Resistance. It's got to be low. 154.
So do we know how many people are in a boarding group, though?
I don't know. Dude, I can't think about this. I have a headache already. I can't.
I know.
That makes my I think you got to have a certain threshold or else people would just be going nuts.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. How often do you get in? Is it like, what's your percentage of getting in? 40%?
I've gotten in every time except for this trip on 2 days.
Okay.
And so I would say I'm probably at about, but I haven't tried that many days. I'm probably batting about 70% now. That's a good question.
I don't know.
Okay.
Wade's got 1,000 in a group.
You think it's 1,000 in a group? So this is...
Wait, so there's 154,000 people at the studios?
Yeah, that can't be right.
That can't be right.
Math isn't working here, right? This got maybe 100 in a group. I'd say it's 100 in a group.
Maybe you meant 100 in a group.
You got to add on the zero.
Because there's no way there's 154,000 people.
No, not at all. But yeah, okay, we got to eat. Sunday night, we're going to continue this. We're going to figure this out. All right.
I wish it was Sunday night already.
So. I know. We'll be there. All right. Tomorrow, I'll text you before the madness starts and we'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what madness? Oh, yeah. Early in the morning.
Text me too. If you don't hear from me, text me in case, like, for some reason I get caught up in work and I totally forget, which I won't.
Okay. I have a meeting reminder on my Outlook at work, so I'm going to get a reminder pop up. So I'll be ready.
Okay. And good luck to everybody. Register tomorrow. We got to get down there. We're going to have fun.